Right now, the United States cryptocurrency industry operates entirely without a comprehensive rulebook. Digital assets flow instantly across borders, but onshore, companies are trying to build financial infrastructure on top of a legal void. To fill that void, the Securities and Exchange Commission has stepped in. Instead of writing clear regulations, the SEC relies on a strategy the industry calls Choke Point 2.0, policing the market through aggressive, retroactive enforcement lawsuits. Faced with multi-million-dollar fines and zero legal certainty, American crypto companies are making a rational business decision. They are packing up and moving offshore, to jurisdictions where the laws are clearly defined. This exodus leaves a massive opening on the global stage. Foreign adversaries, particularly China, are aggressively pushing to dominate digital finance and artificial intelligence, while the U.S. remains bogged down in domestic legal battles. By maintaining this lawless environment, Washington is voluntarily surrendering its position. The financial layer of the next generation of the Internet is being built right now, and the U.S. is sitting on the sidelines. The proposed solution to this gridlock is a piece of legislation known as the Clarity Act. The bill is designed to pull the industry out of the shadows and establish a secure, onshore regulatory framework. It targets three specific mechanisms. First, it provides legal certainty for exchanges to operate. Second, it sets strict rules for yield-bearing stablecoins. And third, it equips law enforcement with the tools they need to track and prevent illicit finance. The bill has gathered serious bipartisan momentum. Lawmakers like Senator Cynthia Lummis have spent months negotiating the text, preparing to move it to the Senate floor for a final vote. But they are completely out of time. Congress is scheduled to leave for recess on August 7th. Once they leave, lawmakers pivot entirely to the November midterms, and the legislative calendar goes completely dark. That leaves a desperately needed upgrade to the U.S. payment system, resting on an impossibly short 3-week congressional deadline. And in that tight window, a massive roadblock has emerged. Democratic leadership, spearheaded by figures like Senator Elizabeth Warren, is refusing to support the bill unless it includes strict, airtight ethics provisions. This demand stems directly from the top of the Republican ticket. Donald Trump and his family are actively launching their own private cryptocurrency businesses, generating vast sums of money off token issuance. Democrats argue this creates an immediate national security risk. They fear that without a ban on the executive branch issuing tokens, the Oval Office could personally profit from the Clarity Act, or worse, become a direct channel for foreign governments to buy influence. Republicans reject the addition. Senator Lummis argues that a national financial framework meant to outcompete foreign rivals cannot be derailed by specific rules designed to target one individual's private ventures. They point to the historical standard in Congress. For decades, legacy lawmakers like Nancy Pelosi have been permitted to trade stocks and generate massive personal wealth while actively holding public office. The result is a total stalemate. A macroeconomic policy necessary for the country's fight. Republicans have to look at the math. Overcoming a filibuster and passing the Clarity Act on the Senate floor requires exactly 60 votes. But their path to 60 was just shattered. The sudden death of Senator Lindsey removed a crucial, guaranteed yes vote from the Republican column. That loss is compounded by the continued medical absence of senior leadership. With Senator Mitch McConnell away from the voting floor, the numbers are shrinking rapidly. Those missing seats mean Republicans have lost their voting buffer. Their margin for error is gone, making a straight party line push mathematically impossible. Because they lack the votes independently, Republicans are facing an ultimatum. They must cross the aisle, accept the strict Democratic ethics rules, or watch the legislation die. The fate of a trillion-dollar technological industry now hinges entirely on a razor-thin margin of missing Senate votes. If the Clarity Act fails, the alternative is immediate. The SEC will retain default regulatory control, and Choke Point 2.0 will continue to hammer companies with multi-million-dollar enforcement actions. Traditional banking institutions will capitalize on the confusion. With no legal certainty for digital assets, banks will escalate pressure on the crypto market, specifically targeting and squeezing stablecoin yields. Meanwhile, consumer platforms will adapt in the worst way possible. Unable to build tokenized stock engines under current laws, companies like Robinhood are forced to build alternative, highly volatile meme coin networks just to keep operating. Failing to pass the Clarity Act doesn't stop cryptocurrency from existing. It simply strips away consumer protections and pushes the industry into the riskier, unregulated shadows. The Senate now has mere days to negotiate a middle ground. Solutions like mandatory blind trusts for elected officials are on the table, but time is evaporating. Lawmakers are weighing a massive macroeconomic network upgrade against a micro-political feud over family business interests and stock portfolios. While they argue, Europe and Asia are already implementing their own regulatory frameworks. If the U.S. misses this window, it risks permanently losing its leadership status in digital finance to proactive foreign regulators. Until Washington drops the personal grievances and locks in a compromise, the future of the American digital economy remains trapped at a complete standstill.